So yep, there's the MEEP. It's white and purple now. All right, well, it's a couple days later, and I did finish the driver's side of the MEEP the other day, and I screwed up pretty bad. Kind of got a little funky there and there. So I am going to redo this side, and you would not believe how hard it was to find white paint. So let's shoot some paint down, let it sit about an hour, hit another coat on it, and then we're gonna fix my screw up on this side of the car. And just like that, it's like I never screwed up. So we'll let the paint dry for a while, and yeah, do that. We'll get the hubcaps off, get those painted white. Gotta find the fourth one. It's probably in the back of the car somewhere. I also need to get all this overspray off the car, because, you know, I could just mask it off like a normal person, but what's the fun in that? But yeah, this side turned out way better, so I'm gonna try to make the other side look this good, or well, acceptable. You choose. But yeah, I'm gonna spray paint these hubcaps and let it sit for a while. Well, I got the blue back on this side. It's turning out better than the last time, so went there, let it cure for another half hour. Also, the paint gets everywhere. It's on my watch too, so that's great. Yeah, we're gonna let it cure. We'll do the purple. Still gotta figure out something on the hood, so we'll figure that out in a minute. Well, baby Dildar found the horn. Is that funny, buddy? Well, baby Dildar got bored of honking the horn. I got sick of him honking the horn at me with my head in front of the car, so he's all done for now. But we painted the hubcaps. They're white with the teal Oasis blue color on them, currently drying. It's like 62 degrees outside, so not primo painting weather, but there is some sun out, so I might try to carry them out in the sun where I should have been painting them in the first place. Then I have to do purple on the car, and I'm gonna try to do some purple on the hubcaps, maybe right in the center, or just a swoosh pattern across it. I don't know yet, but it's looking better than it did. Still trying to figure out what to do with the hood. I'm trying to look for cardboard. Arts and crafts ability is like that of a 4-year-old, so I have an idea. We'll try something later, but I'm gonna let the paint dry for a bit. So, as Dougster would say, more soon. All right, so I have been busy. I let the paint dry for a while. I painted the front bumper purple, and the wording Jeep, I painted it blue first, then shot it with some purple, wiped it off with my finger. The purple dried really fast, so it didn't come off as well as I was hoping. Got the hubcaps painted, purple in the middle over the Mini. Cut out the bottom of a cup to spray that, and then used the 5-gallon pail to do the perimeter of the teal on there. But the driver's side turned out okay, I guess. It's better than what it was, that's for sure. So the other way I did it was bothering the crap out of me. So I'm really glad I redid that today. So that was the driver's side, and passenger side. A little more swishes on the driver's side, but it's okay. It actually looks presentable now. I'm still trying to figure out what to do with the hood. Like I said, I have an idea. I gotta find some cardboard first. Yeah. I also need to figure out why the rear brakes are grinding. Those were just replaced a couple months ago in a previous video. Probably full of dirt or something from my off-roading adventure. I really need to get some miles on this car. I think I've burned a quarter tank of fuel in it, and that's it. So 80 miles-ish on it. Drove it to the repair shop, to work, back. Yeah, I don't know. Not very many miles, but I gotta get some miles on it. But let's look for some cardboard. Well, I called Dougster and asked him what to do about the hood, because my Picasso idea didn't really work out. So we now have the solo pattern on the hood. Came out pretty good, actually. Driver's side went derpy again, but I'm done messing with it. It's fine. It's way better than what the driver's side of the car looked like, however, the other day. So it's a win in my book. But it's a good 5-foot paint job. we'll go with that. So yeah, it's good. So now I gotta drain the radiator of the water, put coolant in it, and burp the system. So I'm gonna commence with that now. Well, it's been a nerve-wracking 20 minutes trying to get the MEEP coolant to bleed correctly. Drain the water out, let everything just drain. Added coolant, I could only get about a quarter gallon in, so I knew I had a huge air pocket in there. Ran it for a while, it started getting hot, shut her down, popped the bleeders, let pressure bleed off. Could not get it to do anything, so I had to take the upper radiator hose off and physically dump coolant down in there to get the big air pocket in the radiator out. You could hear it gurgling and everything. Filled it up, plugged it back in, ran it a little bit longer, got hot again, shut her down, let off some pressure again. I've been bleeding pressure the entire time from the bleeding points. Finally got heat inside the car, which is great. And we got the cooling system, it dropped from 210 where it was sitting at down to under 190, so I know the thermostat finally opened. It should be a 180 thermostat in the car. I don't know how these things work. I got an aftermarket gauge plugged into a T-fitting off of the engine on the back side, so I'm not really sure how accurate my temp gauge is. The factory temp gauge, however, is still hooked up on the dash, and it's still reading under half. Other than the 2 times that it got hot above 210, I did go about 3/4 of the way. So I'm guessing the temp gauges are working correctly, but I don't trust the one on the dash too well. I'm just going by the aftermarket one I put in there, but it's kind of nice to have a second opinion on that. Oil pressure is running about 30 pounds at warm. It says it's 80 at hot under load. I don't know if that's even accurate, but I have oil pressure, so I'm going to say that's a win. There's no oil pressure gauge other than where it tells you that you're out of oil pressure. The light comes on. That actually never worked because when I hit that rock, drained the engine of oil, the only way I knew I was out of oil is because it was knocking. So that's not a good sign. But we're sitting at 190 on the gauge, about 25, 30 pounds oil pressure. Still half on the thingy. Speedometer still doesn't work. Lots of lights on. Should probably plug into the light or the thingy to tell me what the service engine light is. Probably because the speed sensors are still not functioning. That's what it was last time. See if we can't get some more pressure out of this guy. I feel like we got another air bubble in there again. Oh, there we go. There's some coolant coming out finally. Setting her back up. Honestly, I'm not a mechanic, so I don't even know if I'm doing this correctly. There's still no coolant in this line up here on the radiator. So I'm going to say that we've got an air bubble still. Guess we'll run a little longer, hope that thermostat can open again, and we can bleed some more pressure out. All right, well, I was running the MEEP for a little bit, and I realized I had a vacuum leak coming from this line here, which is now plugged into the intake, but I got this random wire not plugged in. The cooling fans are constantly running, and the only switch I can think of that might be bad is the one that's under here, but unfortunately, being a Mini, there's no room, and you can't reach under there. So I gotta take the battery out, the battery tray, and the computer to see what's down there. So I'll pick you guys up here in a second. All right, turns out I have to turn the camera flash on to get it to function correctly. But yeah, there are 2 wires rubbed through right here. So that's the wires that go to my temp sensor. So that's probably why the fans are constantly running. Additionally, I'm still trying to figure out where this plug here goes to. I know I deleted the air conditioning, so maybe that went to the air. I'll have to look into it some more. I am getting swarmed by mosquitoes currently, so as much as I wanted to drive this car to work tomorrow, I think I'm gonna have to pass on that just so I can get this wiring fixed tomorrow, when I can see and not get attacked by freaking things. There's another plug that goes somewhere down here. So it's a giant puzzle of what did I do when I took this apart. But yeah, No Name Nationals is next week, and I still have a lot of stuff to do, and I gotta put more miles on the car because I've literally only driven this car 60 to 80 miles since I put this motor in. So yeah, good times. All right, I found 2 self-soldering connectors. You can still clamp them down like normal. So I did that. I'm gonna heat it, get it heat shrunk down, plug it back in, and then fish the battery tray, which is now over there, into here, get the computer back in it, and start the car and see if the fans are on. If not, that means I got a faulty sensor. Otherwise, I might just have to put the fans on a toggle switch for the time being, because I don't want to burn them up, or burn it up, since there's only one fan. That would be pretty bad. The car's got good ventilation at least, so yeah, let's see what happens. All right, unfortunately, that did not take care of the issue. Cooling fans are still running. So I am at a loss for why this is doing it. I'm going to plug in with the code scanner, see what it tells me. All right, we're back at it today. Got the temp sensor pulled out, the old one that is, the new one installed. Camera would focus on this. Come on, focus. There you go. It's not the best looking sensor, so not 100% convinced this is going to take care of our problem, but it's at least a start. Down here, got everything all out of the way. Everything else seems to be nice and tight and holding up good. So I'm going to throw that sensor in the box. Going to go ahead and get the battery tray back in, get the battery back. We did lose a little bit of coolant. I'm hoping it didn't cause us any big air bubbles in the system. So we'll get us all back together, fire it up, and see what happens. There's Gabby. Gabby, gonna help? All right, go ahead, get the stuff in there. Yeah, I'll feed you when you're done. Yeah. No food without work. That's how it works around here. Well, hello. You join me underneath the MEEP. We are currently trying to find if there are any wires that are not connected under here for the cooling system, since the fans are still on and are being triggered to turn on. I have not found anything under here. There is a slight coolant leak I'm trying to figure out. Could be from me the other day changing out that temp sensor, and it was just residual on top of the transmission because some did leak out. So I'm gonna go with that is the problem. I am gonna start the car up here in a little bit and let it run to see if coolant runs out. Maybe there's a coolant line for the heater core that's leaking. I have honestly no clue. Yeah, so I'm just down here under the car trying to look stuff over. Trying to also figure out why this passenger side control arm is pushed back an entire inch from everything else. But I don't have any kind of explanation for that right now. And then Gabby's coming over to help us out. After which I am going to try and figure out what a connector is. It's back here. Let me get you guys flipped around. So there's that connector there. I have no idea where that goes. I think it was the other wire, those guys for the catalytic converter that is now actually plugged in. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, I'm really not sure where that goes. And I have like 4 wires. I don't even know where sensors go to them because I can't find anything. They're all male-ended plugs, and there is not a single sensor that is not plugged in on the car. So I must be missing something. I do know that the air conditioning is disconnected, but that sensor wire is zip tied up on the intake currently because I put that there. So hopefully on Monday at my buddy's shop we can figure out where these extra wires go, and that is an active coolant leak. So I have to get underneath the hood to figure out where that's coming from. Awesome. Well, I have looked everywhere under the hood of the MEEP, and I cannot find anywhere where coolant's coming out of. So I'm going to ignore it for now, drive the car to work on Monday, or to the gas station later, or somewhere later today, and see if it's leaking. Might do a shakedown run tomorrow with Dougster from Dougster's Wolverine Garage, as he needs to still do a shakedown on his trailer, and see if we're leaving puddles places. I have extra coolant and water in the car. I'd prefer not to have to add any. Because honestly, right now, I have no idea where it's coming from. I can't find any leaks, any wet spots from the overflow, from the thermostat housing, from that sensor I replaced yesterday, or even the heater core. So I'm gonna say it's coming from somewhere else. I even looked over the head gasket on the engine in the back, and I can't find any place where coolant is coming out of or anything like that. So that being said, I need to address the core support. For those of you that remember, the donor core support is cracked and it's in place. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find some metal to hook right there on that lower tab for the frame or bumper, and here make some angle brackets that go across, and then put something underneath to support it, because it would be good if it was supported. And there's our coolant drips that I still can't find where they come from. Yeah, cutting it down to the wire, that's for sure. But bumpers on there tight. Gabby, did you find the coolant leak yet? If you do, don't taste it. Just tell me. Thank you. So yeah, I'm gonna go find some metal brackets on the floor in the shed. Try to see if we can get the support a little bit better, because I don't want that falling down on the road. Right, Gabby? Gabby, are you coming to No Name with me? Gabby hates car rides. I think the most she's ever lasted was a half hour in the car before she had a meltdown. So, come on, Gabby. We gotta go find some stuff. Come on, Gabby. Or you can just stay there and keep the fender warm. Well, I wouldn't say that I'm a hoarder, but I found some brackets that I had laying on the floor. I found some other ones that have like a 45-degree bend in them, but those I don't think are going to function correctly for my needs. We do have a stop sign, a yield sign, a construction traffic sign, and a couple other things that could make a skid plate. So we might do that later. But for the time being, I am going to go ahead and try to use these. I got some L-channel pieces laying around. I got one that's sitting over here in the corner, but that's too short. I got two longer ones that I got in the car currently, which reminds me, I need to call the auto parts store and order another serpentine belt, because I have seemed to misplace the new one I got. Luckily, they're not that expensive, so we'll just put that on the list of parts we need to get on Monday. Well, this is what I have come up with. I think that should work out. It's got some good strength to it, and yeah, I guess that's it for now. I gotta go get ready and take off, but I'll pick this up tomorrow when I'm getting the rest of the car ready to go and go meet up with Dougster. I might try to trim some metal real fast to fill those gaps, because that's bothering me. Is that bothering you? Because it bothers me. I do have some spare white paint. I could always spray the metal. So I'm gonna go see if I got any thin pieces of steel in the shed, or sheet metal or something I can put on that. Well, I have to say that worked out better than I thought. Turns out I have white duct tape, so I white duct taped that and that over there, and then I'll just hit it with some paint to make it blend a little better, because when you get up close you can definitely tell. That's factory, right? It'll work. Good enough for who it's for anyway. All right, so as tradition, when we're breaking in a rally car or a car we've worked on, we stop at the last hot now ever. We're down here with Dougster from Dougster Wolverine Garage with the MEEP and the trailer getting ready for No Name Nationals. But there is the last hot now in Sturgis, Michigan. So if you guys get a chance, come on out and try it out. It's as good as you remember. I got myself some delicious fries, a strawberry shake, and got myself the big double deluxe cheeseburger. So darn good. And since I forgot to get a sticker last time I was here, we got ourselves a sticker to go on the MEEP. Well, if you can't see what's going on, it's because I'm trying to deal with headlights on my head. Yeah, that's the fenders off the MEEP. There's the MEEP, torn apart in my yard in the dark at 9 p.m. Almost into Wednesday, trying to do the radiator. Awesome. I still have to go to work tomorrow. Well, the grill's off. The front end is disassembled. Now I just got to get all these random things disconnected to get the core support out. Because this is soaking wet from coolant. I think the side of the tank cracked is what our problem is. Right through here, it's all wet. Oh, last minute thrashing, always the best. So, I'm looking at here is we got radiator sitting in here. We got a tab up here, tab on that side. I think what I did the last time is I was actually able to pop those side tabs here. The radiator lifted out. I got to undo this upper hose here a second, and that coolant does not look very good. That's fresh. I think it's because of all that junkyard garbage that was in there. Well, I got the radiator out without actually having to pull the whole core support. Coolant in my mouth, tastes delicious. So here's our problem. Here's the radiator. The fins up in the top, separated. So awesome. Hoping to get the radiator back in tonight. I'll do a bleed on the coolant system tomorrow. Well, looks like she's running. The cooling fans kick on their own, so that's a good sign. I just gotta make sure they're running correctly. Those air bubbles burped out. I filled the radiator up today, so hopefully that helps out. All right, well, the cooling system seems to be working. The fans just turned off on their own a couple moments ago. I'm still trying to bleed out the excess pressure that's in here. Gonna do it one more time on that bleeder, probably shut it down, wait a little bit, come back out and try it again. The headlight wiring, however, is a little wonky. So I'll have to work on that before I leave in the morning. Check this again. Honestly, I don't even know if I'm doing this correctly, but air pressure coming out, so I'm going to say that's an air bubble. Normally, if straight coolant comes out, you know, that would be solid fluid, no air pockets. So, yeah.